The building blocks is a step-by-step framework to enable START members and their partners to develop national disaster risk financing systems. These systems can analyze risks and create models to continuously monitor them with agreed thresholds that trigger action. Jointly plan with communities what to do once a threshold is met and co-develop inclusive contingency plans. Pre-position funding prior to disaster impacts. Ensure continuous improvement by integrating lessons learned and best practices. The building blocks framework has 4 levels. Foundation lays the groundwork for the system. Build creates the core components of measuring past impact, developing risk models and contingency plans. Coverage performs quality checks and secures financing for the system. System Life sets up the required protocols and administration so all actors are ready to then implement and monitor the system and feedback learning into continuous improvements. The foundation level involves members identifying what risks they will prioritize and why, and then planning accordingly. At this stage, the following questions should be asked. What are we trying to achieve with DRF systems in this country? What gap or need does having a DRF system address? Who are the other network members and stakeholders to develop systems with? What skills, expertise, and knowledge do each of the stakeholders have? What historical disasters have affected the country? What should be the priority for DRF? Are the current financial streams sufficient, or where are the gaps? How will the future systems be governed? Level 2 is the build stage. If the foundation level highlighted that an anticipatory action system was most appropriate for the country, build will include the development of risk models and contingency plans. A risk analytics system is set up that can forecast hazards while considering potential humanitarian impacts with data on exposed populations and existing vulnerabilities. Using this model, based on past disaster impacts, members should identify specific thresholds to trigger action. This work often takes place in collaboration with national meteorological departments, other actors working on anticipatory action, and scientific experts. Once models are set up, members should examine the window of opportunity for anticipatory actions. They need to provide early warnings to trigger funds with sufficient lead time for implementing anticipatory actions. The time between forecast and impact will vary a lot between different hazards. For example, a drought forecast may allow weeks or months in which to alert communities about the impending danger and to deliver necessary support through anticipatory action. Whereas a flood or cyclone warning might only allow a few days or even hours. Members then plan interventions alongside communities in advance of disasters. These plans are based on local vulnerability, anticipated needs, and the available skills, knowledge, and experience of actors in anticipating and responding to crises. The plans also need to consider what readiness action are required before a disaster to effectively implement anticipatory actions. The third level is coverage, which involves system quality checks, start-ready funding applications and allocations, and operating procedures for the system. Before applying for start-ready funding, a system needs to show that it has met the core requirements for start-ready and undergo a quality assurance check. Both stages ensure that the essential components of an anticipatory action system are in place before a system is allocated start-ready funds. The checks also contribute to continuous improvement plans for the system. Based on priority actions in contingency plans, budgets are developed and funding requests submitted by each country to a global Start Ready committee. This includes a request for National Reserve funds, which are for operational readiness to ensure START network members can implement priority actions, especially if there is a short lead time. The START Ready Committee allocates funds across the risk pool to all countries for a 1-year period. The final level is System Live. This includes monitoring forecasts, carrying out all readiness actions so all START network members are ready to implement anticipatory action plans if there is a system trigger, and monitoring and evaluation of the program and the continuous improvements to the anticipatory action system. Once funding allocations are made from START Ready, START network members define who will lead in priority regions, confirm and agree final implementation plans, and ensure necessary pre-approvals are secured for efficient funding flows. These processes should all be approved by a national governance group. There should be active monitoring of the risk model during the risk season. The START Ready Handbook details all required processes if a threshold is met or a model failure is suspected. Once activated, START Ready payouts are processed immediately to allow members and their partners to oversee the delivery of planned actions, with the aim of protecting lives of community members, their assets, and mitigating impacts before the peak of a disaster. When completing the 4 building blocks, members should collectively review the whole process regularly. The building blocks is a written resource with complementary online and in-person training available that can contextualize the framework to your country. The building blocks is evolving, and as START network members gain experience in developing such mechanisms collectively, they can inform each other and together improve the guidance and overall outcomes of these systems. For more information, please contact startready@startnetwork.org or access the building blocks resources in the description of this video.